I don't know how many of you remember that last year around the time of the high holidays, actually at Mariv on Rosh Hashanah, I shared that I like to begin each Jewish New Year with choosing a word for myself. Choosing a word that I'm going to sort of imbue the year with. What do I want to bring into the year? And the key to picking a good word, if anybody wants to join me in this practice, which I encourage, and I'm happy to talk with you about it if you want to talk about it, the key to picking a good word is to pick something that is sort of has expansive meaning. It can sort of convey a lot of different things. So I might also share this again at the high holidays, at Mariv Rosh Hashanah, which if I do, you all have to pretend to be totally, like you're hearing it totally for the first time. But I thought I'd let you all who are here or at home watching the service I thought I'd debut it for you a little early. And so the word that I'm thinking of for this year is newness. I'm thinking about newness because I feel as though there might not be a better feeling than being a new learner or learning something for the first time or being curious. For me, it's one of the best feelings that I can possibly hope to have, and that's what I want to bring. That's what I want to call in for this year. And I would say that as a culture, we celebrate newness for the most part, or maybe I should be more precise and I say we are definitely a culture that celebrates firsts. The first time a record is broken, the first time a woman wins an Oscar for Best Director, or the first time a person of color is president. Still waiting on a woman or a trans or non-binary person, so there's still more firsts to come. The first step your child takes, the first time a new skill is performed in either sport or in technology of some kind, grand opening of a store, first day of school, first day of a job. And these are all important milestones that are meant and should be celebrated. So taking nothing away from any of that, but as of about a month ago, I began my second year as the assistant rabbi here at CBST. So I thought tonight we would talk about seconds. What it might mean to do something for the second time, not the first time, or the third time, or the fourth time. Because in some ways, isn't that even more impressive? To not just be able to do something once, but to prove over time that you're capable of doing it again and again. To show that it's not an anomaly or out of the ordinary for a woman or a person of color to gain power, but that it's possible for them to stay there and for it to become the norm. And there's a great place for celebrating and marking world records and breaking glass ceilings. But I'm wondering, where is the celebration for plodding along steadily? For doing the work quietly over time, for showing up over and over, not just to have the high of the first time, but because you love what you're doing and because you know what you're doing is valuable. And of course, because we're in the month of Elul, I'm also thinking about teshuva, which of course means to return or to come to something again. Rambam, the medieval Jewish commentator who wrote extensively about teshuva, in his Hilchot Teshuva, asks the question, Ezo hi teshuva gemura? What is a complete teshuva? What qualifies as a complete and whole teshuva? And he answers, it is someone who confronts the exact same situation where they have sinned before and is able to abstain and turn away from sin the second time. In other words, a complete teshuva is not even really achieved until the second go-around. I want to bring in words from Henry Miller, an American novelist, most famous for his works Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. He was a travel writer, a watercolorist, and a Park Slope resident. And he wrote about this need for steadfastness when approaching your goals. And I'm going to quote a small part of his writings in his letters to Anais Nin, where he writes about his secret of growth. He says, I see now that my steadfast desire was alone responsible for whatever progress or mastery I have made. One should not be worrying about the degree of success obtained by each and every effort, but only concentrate on maintaining the vision, keeping it pure and steady. Through this, the word tamid comes to mind, meaning continually or perpetually, like our ner tamid. The Torah instructs, may you keep a perpetual fire burning on your altar, never going out. Eish tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo techabeh. This commandment comes after Har Sinai, after Moses smashes the tablets, after the Israelites create the golden calf, after both groups get their second chance. They are instructed to keep a continual fire burning on the altar, which has come to take on the meaning of God's perpetual light, one that will not go out for us, a light of second chances. Success is not the goal in teshuva. It is the continual work of how we walk in the world. It's the continual self-reflection that Judaism requires of us, to examine our interactions and our relationships. It's the steadfast showing up, even when it's not easy or fun. Those are the occasions that we should be celebrating. Teshuva itself is the work of many attempts over time. In fact, there might not even be a first time in teshuva work. True teshuva is the act of trying to better ourselves slowly and steadily, getting a little bit closer to our ideal self each time. And also the knowledge that not a single one of us is perfect. None of us are going to succeed in bettering ourselves with one fell swoop. Teshuva is about the slow growth and slow progress, which makes it harder to find places to make a milestone out of. Instead, it's the constant celebration of seconds, second chances, and second opportunities. So where does that leave me in my flow of my second year? No longer in the stage of everything totally new, but still obviously wanting to welcome newness into my life this Rosh Hashanah. In some ways, this is the essential dichotomy of really all Rosh Hashanahs. We celebrate the beginning of a new year, the chance for new firsts, all while acknowledging that we ourselves are not new. We are constantly, continually, perpetually given the opportunity to start over and to try again. We are all on the slow and steady path of growth, and hopefully, if we're lucky, we'll get to be in it that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 15th, 17th, 20th, 25th, 30th year, etc. The years of work that we choose to do, the middle years. Maybe not as exciting as the beginning years, or as momentous as the end, but it's also where the real, good, and meaningful work gets to be done. Shabbat Shalom.